Hello everyone, it's Sakuems here. So this is the third installment for this series this week on this artwork Alicia. So I already did the skin coloring like voiceover. Now I'm working on the hair, and you're also gonna get the full artwork time lapse. So for the hair, the reason why I'm making this video is because first of all, my hair coloring tutorial wasn't the best one, I suppose. There's too much information. It's really hard to really focus on what I was doing. So I tend to really just I want to do more of those time lapse with commentary, so you can really see the process at the lower speed. Because when you see my like full artwork time lapse in 5 minutes, you really just can't really get exactly what I'm doing, because everything just flies just too fast. So that's why I don't think I'm going to do that for every artwork, but for this artwork, especially Copic, like alcohol based like artwork, I really like how it turned out, and I wanted to do a separate video with commentary about the hair, in order for me just to explain a little bit more about the process, and for you to really just enjoy me doing the hair and just trying to figure out how I do it. So I did brown hair, and when I say brown, it's basically I've used mostly browns. When I work with my like watercolors or like any kind of artwork, I tend to had different color family to the what I'm currently coloring. But for this specific artwork, I don't know why, but actually I really liked working only with the same family. So there's a lot of browns, but I've included this ombre effect. Basically from dark brown to like raspberry plum, not plum, like a raspberry dark pink color on the hands, and it's actually the color of my hair right now. So what I was gonna say is basically the order of coloring, and what I'm doing in general is you always have to think about the colors you're using. The exact shades, I will put them in the description below so you can really see the order of coloring. I think I've used, let me just count the colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I used 6 colors on the brown part, and there's 3 or 4 colors for the pinkish ombre. So there's a lot of colors on the hair, and I don't know if you can really tell that with my hand, but it's very small. The drawing scale was very tricky because basically the amount of details you can get with coloring depends on the scale of your artwork and the scale of your tool. The brush tip of Copics is great, but not really if you work in tiny details. Sometimes it gets really hard for me to really just have the look that I want. I wish there was some sort of thinner brush, or some sort of finer, stronger tip, because the ink is spreading, the brush is thicker, and even a brand new brush will still be a bit hard. But what I was doing, struggling in a way, is that I was too scared of applying the colors that I barely touched the paper, because the ink was already spreading in a larger area that I really wanted. And that's something that you have to take in consideration when you work. Depending on the paper you're using, the ink will spread easily. So when I gradually shade, I mean literally barely touching the paper, using a tiny amount of the darker color, blending with the medium color, still leaving room for lighter color. You have so much to take care of in such a small place. When I work on, I don't know exactly how large it is, but it's basically in 5mm or 5mm square millimeter, in a way that is very small. I have to make sure that I have at least a darker, a medium, and a light tone, and there's just no room for that. So that's a bit tricky, which is something that didn't happen when I was working with the artwork I've shared. I showed in my hair coloring tutorial. It's very large, so I didn't have that issue, but here I really just had to build up really slowly. And like I say, slowly, I just this whole artwork took me 2 hours, and I spent at least 40 minutes on the hair only, building up and feathering out with the brush. And you see, this tiny strokes is because I just barely touched the paper, and I lift my hand really fast, and I'm not happy with the look, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't blend this, it's too small, and I'm just like, I have to leave enough room for me to shade with a medium color and another medium color to really just help building up the gradient. And the reason people just probably wondering, like, where do you place your dark and your light? How do you know it's there? And I'm just following the hair structure and like the hair like shape that I've created. And coloring and drawing, they really just work together. If you have knowledge about drawing hair, you will know how to color them, because basically everywhere you have lines connecting, it's supposed to be darker. Everywhere you have like think about it and like in 3 dimension, and it's just about practicing and like trying to I'd say really just color a lot, like make a lot of drawings and practice shading, and just about, I mean, I know how to do it because I just watched a lot of tutorials, I watched a lot of artists doing it, and I practiced and thinking about layers of hair and layers and like 3-dimensional aspect of what you're currently doing. And I suppose this is only what I like. I can't say much about it right now because it's not really a tutorial, but basically this is just how I do hair and how I color with Copics in general. And I will do more tutorials, so don't worry about that. And I will also focus on like different colors, like I want to do mermaid hair and like a lot of things. And so basically when I'm working, I always have to make sure that I don't go too dark first, because I'm not 100% sure about the finished shading that I want. Like, is it gonna be brown, dark brown, or like, so I always go a bit, I guess I do the basic shading, which is what I did on like half of her head with like medium browns, and then I go darker and darker, and when I know exactly that I got the look that I want, I can then go darker, and I already know what my darkest color is gonna be and how much space I need to have to blend them with the lightest color. So I in such a small scale, I was able to blend 4 colors together to go from dark brown to this light golden brown. And on top of that, I also have to connect the pink and the medium brown, and I've used E04 to do that, and R56, and a little bit of pink as well. And E33 is my basic like medium brown, which is like a golden brown basically. And yeah, and this is just how I do color hair. I follow every little strand. I try to smooth out of my line art because I don't really like when there's like harsh lines. And I was going for a realistic look, but with a little bit of like I'd say an illustrative style. It's not like realistic hair, because nobody has hair like that. They're just so perfect in a way that every strand is really like build up, and like it's almost like she has tons of hairspray in it. But I still wanted this to be really just like smooth looking. And like I said, Copic coloring is basically layering color, melting color, building up colors and gradients, and practicing shading, and just like know how each color is going to react with another one. And the motion itself, little by little, like just the tiny touches and switching between colors, it is just how I do it. And now I exactly know what my gradient is going to look like. I know that my darkest color is going to be E49, which is this very dark brown, and you're probably wondering how I'm going to blend that. And like I said, it's about melting colors. I always make sure that I don't apply too much, just a little bit less than what I want to have, because the ink will spread. And then what I'm gonna do is switch to my E47 and E57 to smooth everything out until I have my lightest shade remaining. And I do a wash of this lightest shade almost all over the hair to smooth out everything, which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now for the remaining part of this tutorial. You know, you see me like basically doing the exact same motion, gradually going to meet the lightest shade. And yeah, that's basically how I color hair. I hope this was helpful, guys. Like I said, I thought that the other hair tutorial was a bit tricky to understand, so I wanted to make another video really dedicated to this. And like I said, I will do more videos about anything. Like, I want to do more time lapse, like focusing on one single portion of a drawing. And I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, if you want me to explain a bit more about something, or maybe do like a real-time clip of me working on hair, just tell me below and I will be glad to do it. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.